Can you give us the stats on your org? Because your organization has rolled out an incredible amount of deals in 2023.
Yeah. So effective today, 1,279 agents gross have partnered with us in the last 5 years. In the last 12 months for the period ending December 2023, our organization, we had 844 agents that did a transaction, which equated to 6,882 closed transactions for 6.06 billion in closed dollar volume for 2023.
That is
Wow.
so
I love that.
unbelievable.
Those are some great
Wow, right?
numbers.
Now, Phil, on
Yeah.
an average
Yeah.
month, like how many agents would you be onboarding?
Yeah, anywhere from 30 to 50 on average right now.
The real estate biz is drastically changing, and modern real estate success can't be learned in some old course manual. This is everything they never told you about real estate, where industry leaders expose secrets to success, contemporary lead generation, and how to dominate social media. All moderated by your host, the real estate goat and queen of social media, Carrie Sauvé.
Welcome back, everybody. I am here with my gorgeous co-host, Jennifer Jones.
Hey, Carrie,
I thought
I'm
that was
so
going to be
happy.
me.
You too, Phil. You too. We love you. So, and I have the privilege of introducing Phil Hahn, who is a great friend and someone I just absolutely adore and admire in this company. And of course, my amazing Carrie, who I just love spending time with. And we were just laughing because I always have the intention to be in my office when we do this podcast. But because there was an agent attraction meeting, meaning the top two realtors from one particular company reached out. This is the second meeting, and they changed the time. I was like, absolutely, I will be there, and I will podcast from the location. It's so good. So we're here this afternoon introducing Phil. Phil has a mind-blowing 1,300 people in his organization, and he is living in Canada, right? Dun, da, da, da.
Yeah, living in the Pacific Northwest. You got it. Yeah.
Now, can you give us the stats on your org? Because your organization has rolled out an incredible amount of deals in 2023.
Yeah. So effective today, 1,279 agents gross have partnered with us in the last 5 years. In the last 12 months for the period ending December 2023, our organization, we had 844 agents that did a transaction, which equated to 6,882 closed transactions for 6.06 billion in closed dollar volume for 2023.
Wow.
That is so
I love that. Those are some great
wow, right?
numbers.
Now, Phil,
Yeah.
on an average
Yeah.
month, like how many agents would you be onboarding?
Yeah, anywhere from 30 to 50 on average right now.
Wow. And does your organization have like an onboarding process or a system to how that's managed?
Yeah, so we've got an amazing concierge that will take our agents from the very beginning process, getting them completely optimized on all the platforms. Then we have a special KV core coach that helps with a beginner session and then an advanced session and then one-on-one to optimize the squeeze pages, the AI component, all that kind of stuff as well. That's
So good.
exclusive and bespoke, a bespoke situation and solution for our team.
That is so
yeah, you
incredible.
have to have a system. Definitely have to have a system. GoGo, who's my sponsor, she has a huge organization as well. And it's an operation on the back end. Let me tell you, you cannot run a business without systems. You cannot.
Absolutely. Yeah, everything is a system and a process, and we just love it. Now, Phil, okay, you originally, what company did you start with in real estate? Because you've been in real estate a long time. You know, I know like just since you turned 29 last year, right? Like,
yeah, you got it, buddy. So got into the real estate. So I was in the high-end automotive arbitrage business where I was exporting cars around the world, high value tough to get vehicles from basically the mid 90s to early 2000s, and ended up having a catastrophic failure in that industry, and basically lost everything I had accumulated. I was a multimillionaire by the time I was 30, and pretty much lost it all by the time I was 31. So was out doing my cement concrete work to kind of get myself back into the space, and decided to do my real estate license in 2001, and chose the real estate office that was closest to me based on proximity. And at the time, it was a national Canadian company, a very good, reputable national traditional bricks and mortar franchise system. And so I went and I met with the broker owner and the managing broker of that multi-location franchise system. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to sell 100 homes my first year. And they looked at me, and this was, by the way, the first red flag, guys. They both crossed their arms like this and sat back like this and said, no one's ever done that. And I said, well, that's okay. I'm going to do it. No problem. And they were kind of almost condescending to say, well, good luck with that. And so that was the first real red flag to me, to say, my gosh, I'm not really aligned with someone that is, has big, hairy, audacious goals and that's going to support my success. So, which, we'll touch on in a bit in terms of just how important it is to be aligned with people that want to see you win at the highest level. And so I started, I had no money, but I had an ardent desire to win. And so what I did is I went to Staples and I printed off 5,000 flyers. I named myself the Hahn team, or Hahn for Homes, I think at the time. There was no team, it was me. And my spouse at the time that was helping in an administrative capacity, who was also licensed. And basically what the flyer said was collecting non-perishable items on behalf of the local food bank, and complimentary home evaluation as well. So I'd go, and I started in my neighborhood, and I would do it 5 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. And all I would do is I would knock on the door and I would say, hi, my name's Phil from the Hahn for Homes team. Do you have any non-perishable items for our local food bank? Right. So that was kind of the icebreaker, and it was paying it forward to helping those in need in the community.
Oh, good.
And so they'd bring back a non-perishable item. They were nice. And then I'd say, by the way, do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell real estate now or in the near future? And they'd say, well, my neighbor, Jimmy, Susie, whatever, or no. And then if they'd say no, then I'd say, well, could I interest you in a complimentary market evaluation of your home? And it was really as simple as that. And so that was pretty much my strategy from April 2nd, 2002 to December 31st, 2002. And unfortunately, I didn't sell the 100 homes. I only sold 96. Okay. But what it did is it propelled me as a community builder and kind of the guy that, helps the food bank. And then I got local press coverage because of it, because we were helping the food bank, and we'd go every Monday. I'd go to the food bank and drop off. And, this is pre-social media, pre all that stuff. Right. And so at the end of the year, I sat down with the broker owner again and the managing broker, and I said, okay, team, let's have a special meeting, because I wanted to, include them in my goals so that I could be held accountable to my big vision. Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to sell 200 homes this year. And they looked at me and they crossed their arm again. And then the broker owner said, why can't you be happy with what you've done?
Oh,
yeah. Why can't you be happy with what you've done? And then he went on to tell me that his favorite store was the Bay. And the Bay is great because it's always the same. And then once, I don't know, a year or a quarter or every 6 months, they have Bay days and things go on sale. And he really liked that because it was always the same. And then I said to him, I said, well, sir, I love Future Shop because I go into Future Shop. People pounce on me. They won't be undersold. They do needs-based selling. They help qualify me. They upsell me. And I leave there with way more stuff than I even anticipated on buying. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, it became very apparent that I was not in an environment that was conducive to my success. The realtors in my office, I got a call from the managing broker of the office, and she said, honey, can you stop putting your listings on the listing board and the sold board because it's alienating everybody else?
Oh, my goodness.
I couldn't put, and what I would do is I wouldn't even put my name. I'd put H 4 and then H, the number 8, the letter H, 4H, which is Hahn for homes. And that was alienating.
Wow.
The call. Then I wasn't allowed to put my listings on tour on the agent caravan every Wednesday.
Too many. You too many.
Because what's that?
You had too many.
And it was becoming the Phil Hahn listing tour versus the local office tour. And that was alienating my colleagues. So then I decided, okay, well, I might as well get billboards in the community. So I went to Pattison and I got 2 billboards erected in my local community. And I had 2 great big billboards done. Of course, I never asked anyone about it. Mm-hmm. Then I got the call that, oh my gosh, no one's ever done that in our office. You're alien. And it was all about alienating my colleagues, which unfortunately weren't paying my bills or sending my kids to school. Yeah. Right? So I went looking. Then I knew that, it was not a match. And I started searching, and there was a little company, the Red Company, that came out of Texas and was brand new to the Ottawa area. So I went and met with the gentleman that had opened it, and I told him what was going on, and he said, well, why don't you aim for 500 homes? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then he said, how can you be true to yourself by going back there knowing that these people are not aligned with you? And I couldn't sleep, guys. You know how people touch on you and love on you in your life, that there's those key moments, right? And that was a key moment for me. And so like 3 days later, basically we partnered and left that national Canadian franchise system to align with that Red Company, and spent a lot of time there building a business. Was blessed to be the number 1 team in the nation, top 10 worldwide, attracted the number 1 agent worldwide, mentored the 2 top agents worldwide at that former company. And so just had a lot of fun building. Yeah. And then along came 2016. No, 2015. My goodness. My mom and dad were retiring and coming to move with us in the Pacific Northwest. And about 3 weeks prior to them moving, my mom got diagnosed with a terrible form of cancer called leiomyosarcoma, and it was metastatic stage 4. Mm. So they had a decision to make as to whether or not they were going to stay in Ottawa and deal with it, or they were going to come with us. And so they decided to move in with us in November of 2015. And my mom was basically given 90 days at that point in time. We hit her with everything from consulting with Sloan Kettering, Johns Hopkins, and MD Anderson out of Houston. We took traditional oncology as well as naturopathic stuff. And she managed to have 2 years of amazing health and life. And the day she passed, she went out, had lunch, went shopping, went out for dinner with the family, and then came home and said, I'm not feeling that well. And she laid down and went to go home. And so meanwhile, sorry, let me backtrack a bit here. So about a month into my parents' retirement and them living with us, my dad gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, squamous cell carcinoma. And so he ends up passing summer of 2016. And so my marriage at the time was, under tremendous pressure. This was, there was so much stuff coming at us. And unfortunately that had unwound. And I was just searching, guys. Like I wasn't happy in the real estate space at all. I was thinking of other, getting into other industries, just kind of searching. And my original realtor from, my goodness, 30 years back had been sending me stuff about this company called EXP dating back to like 2015.
Wow.
And it was, I'm looking at it like, whatever, I don't have time. I'm with the biggest, the best, right? I don't have time. I'm too busy. And so I decided, again, as I was sharing earlier, to go to franchise systems orientation with the former company in Austin. And I was in the process of getting some regions with that company. And my hotel caught on fire in Austin. I was at the JW Marriott in Austin, Texas. And we were in the pool, my current wife and I. And it was like, okay, well, why don't we take a look at the XP solution? So we had the fire department, the first responders, the police, the news, everybody was there. It had congregated in front and converged down on the JW Marriott. And we were just sitting. We had to walk out down the stairs, about 6 or 7 flights of stairs in our swimsuits, nothing else, and sat on a park bench. And it was a beautiful Austin warm summer. Sat on that park bench. And talked about EXP, and then I watched the video, and then I was like, well, if these guys do what they say they're going to do, this thing's going to, this is going to change the game. And I'm a numbers guy, so I started looking at numbers and geometric progression and that. And then so I was like, okay. So I talked to an old friend of mine that was instrumental in building that former company I was with across North America. And she said, well, why don't you just connect with Glenn? And so Glenn and I ended up meeting. And I'd met Glenn before, I want to say in the early 2000s when he was at that former company, the Red Company. And
wow. I didn't know that you actually met him
I met him in the early
at the
2000s.
Red Company.
He was like some lead generation guru think tank guy, right? Like he was always seeing the game in a really different way. And so Glenn came down to Vancouver, and we went to La Baia, a lovely Italian restaurant, White Rock, and spent about 4 or 5 hours just talking. And this was in 2017. Yeah, 2017. And then I ended up going to a couple of events, and I decided that, you know what, we're gonna run with this. And so we decided to plug in and run with it. And it's been an amazing journey, you know, really affecting change in realtors and the real estate agents' lives across the world.
Yeah,
so you joined in 2000. It sounds like 2018, right? Is when you
summer 2018, somewhere around there. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so were you focused on selling, or were you focused on just mentoring and helping and loving on other agents?
Yeah, so my role in my teams and businesses, you know, in the past, I'd say 10 years or so, was primarily mentorship and leadership, strategic vision, setting the goal, and, you know, being a culture keeper of the organizations. And so it was more of a mentorship type of role, and paying it forward to, you know, those that want to really compress their success timeline. That's what I love to do. I love to take someone that has a desire to win and then give them micro commitments. Okay. And then if they follow up on those micro commitments and tasks I give them, for instance, if I give someone half a dozen tasks and they get them done within a week, I'll show you someone that'll do a minimum of 50 transactions in a year, every time.
Yeah.
Okay, in the first year.
Love that.
And so that was kind of my aha, and ended up aligning with some pretty amazing agents in the process. And, you know, one of them being the rookie of the year, I think 56 closed transactions year one. Another one doing 75 closed transactions year one. I provide mentorship to the number one agent for dollar volume sold in Canada on a weekly basis with EXP. And so this is kind of my big aha is and my big why is to love on those that want to win and that plug in and follow up on those micro commitments. And a lot of my career, I would see the talent in people and their success or their potential, but they wouldn't see it the way I did. And so I was chasing them for their success more than they wanted it. So now it's kind of, I'll swim to those that swim to me.
Yeah, I was going to bring up, how do you handle, because not all agents are created alike, and there's a lot that don't want to do the work. So how do you handle that as a leader? I'm personally interested in this question.
Yeah, well, Carrie, well, you know what? And it's a challenge, because like, I really want to see everybody win at the highest level. And I don't see why not, like, right. Other than the stories they're telling themselves and the limiting beliefs. And so again, it's that micro commitment, Carrie. And so I will give them tasks. If someone says they want to win and they want to play the game at the highest level, or they want, you know, whatever that success looks like for them.
Yeah.
If they're not going to plug into the micro commitments, then basically that's, you know, they're on their own, if that makes sense, right? If they lean in, then I will lean into them. But if they're not following through with those small tasks, then, you know, unfortunately, there are other people that want to win. And so we'll just focus there, if that makes sense.
Good. I love to hear that, because I always feel bad about having to take a step back when I have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find
yeah. Well, and there's so many people that will reach out, you know, and you'd both have that experience of when you're doing well, people reach out asking for help, but taking the time to give them the help. What I've learned is, okay, give them a task first, like Phil's saying, like, read this book, and when you've read it, then reach out to me and we'll talk. Because I'm finding it's just a drain otherwise of people who won't necessarily go out and actually do the work after, right? So we want to
Yep.
invest in people, exactly what Phil's saying, who will invest in themselves. And I'm
Yeah.
such a big fan of Phil. Phil's in a position now where, you know, he's making enough money in his life that he doesn't have to be doing this. So this is something that this really is his heart, and watching him pour back and give to other people. Even for me, I'm not part of Phil's organization. However, Phil has constantly poured into me and given me help throughout the company. So I'm just so grateful to him, and, you know, just an amazing guy. So thank you, Phil.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and I
Jen.
think that's what sets us apart at EXP, because personally,
Yes.
you guys, I have to be really honest. I hated agents. I've been an agent for 14 years, and I think I was on.
Carrie,
I
can
was
you tell us how you really feel, though? Carrie, can you tell us how you really feel?
I was on stage recently, and I said, "Wow, this is my third stage in 2 months, and before this I had never even attended a conference." And people were like, "What?" And I'm like, "Of course I didn't. I hated agents. I didn't like agents because of the competitive nature of our industry here in Ontario, and it was easier for me just to not engage than have to, like, here in Ontario, we're doing, 90% of the agents aren't making enough money to live. So those are going to be the majority of the agents that you come across in your day to day. So they're in survival mode. It's a much different experience. And when I joined EXP, it was a complete game changer. It's like I've been living the industry backwards the whole time, which is crazy. And I'm just continually impressed every single day at the collaboration. And that's not even the word anymore. If you ask me, I don't know what the word is, but it's just support, the support out there. So yeah, I'm grateful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
And
Carrie,
Phil,
I really. Oh, sorry, Jen. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because you used to work out of Ottawa. So you were in Ontario working, were you not?
I was, absolutely. That's where I got my career started. Yeah, from 2002 through to 2006. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, and I think it's interesting, right? I always look at the competitiveness with kind of a sense of humor, and I enjoy some good fun competition, right? Like with your colleagues, it's fun. And then the silly thing for me was I love people. So I love to work with other realtors. And if I went in and I'm interviewing a client and I say, "Who else are you interviewing?" Because that's always one of my questions if they're interviewing. And they would say, "Oh, so and so and so and so." And I'd say, "Oh my gosh, I love him or her. Why don't we just go ahead and we'll co-list the property for you, and you're going to get 2 for 1, right?" And then I'd call the agent after, because the client's like, "Yeah, this is a great idea." And I'd say, "You know what? We're going to do it together." And we would just have a blast. So I feel like you can look at it like we're all competitors,
Like, leave it
or,
to Jen.
Jen, that's awesome.
uh-oh.
So I did it similar. So can you guys hear me okay? Do we have a
Yeah,
technical?
we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jen, I did it kind of similar. What I would do is I would say, you know what, that's a great agent. You know what, I understand there's going to be a bit of discomfort letting them know that you've selected working with us. So I'll go ahead and let them know for you, so you don't have to be uncomfortable. Let's just go ahead and okay the paperwork and get it done.
You're so cute. And
Yes.
so, right? And the thing is, so I think you can look at it different ways, but then it's like you're doing this nice thing by calling them tongue in cheek, joking around with them. And though, like, I have amazing relationships with agents in the industry because of that. Like, I truly am not going in my mind and like, I'm going to obliterate this person. I'm going to go beat them. It's like, it's fun. We're all partners. Let's all get along. So, like you, Carrie, I get more frustrated with agents where they take it a little too seriously and they just have a negative view of the world, right? So the glass is always half empty. It's their clients are always a problem. right? It's just difficult doing deals with that type. So yeah.
I have a question. I have a question for Phil because he is the master agent attractor, let's face it.
Yes.
Jennifer, knowing her so well personally, is an attractor in terms of relationships and in person. I am a tech person, obviously an AI specialist. I'm looking at things in terms of funnels and automations. So, how are you running your agent attraction? Can you give us a little glimpse inside the Phil Hahn system?
Well, you know what? It's really about supporting the network first and foremost, right? And that's truly, Carrie, it's about being that support to those people that are interested in, taking advantage of the agent referral opportunity that we have at EXP, right? And so, if you'll notice that my growth and production is predominantly through our agent body, and I come secondary to that, right? And so, we all know the old adage that you'll get everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And so that's really been my mantra, to be honest, is to lean into those that are leaning into me and to support them at the highest level. And it's Carrie, my goodness, your AI stuff is so great and over the top and unbelievable how you've made this your servant. And, there's another word to say, but I'm not going to use it on the podcast, but it's pretty freaking awesome. And so, of course, we're leveraging that stuff as well. But at the end of the day, it's a relational thing. It's about, people don't care how much, until they know how much you care. Right. And so it's making those investments into the relational piggy banks and just reaching out to those agents that have it going on and, congratulating them on their successes, offering some consultancy in terms of how you can help them, and it's really a relational game more than anything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I have another question, because considering the size of your organization, I know personally, like, I've got to admit, this is something that most people don't know. I'm running a highly successful consulting company with one employee because I'm using AI, right? So which is what AI is leverage. How many
Big time.
VAs do you have? Like, how, or not even VAs, but like, how much supports really? Who keeps you on track with all of your conversations, your support?
No VAs, no VAs. We all know the best CRM to use is the one you're going to use, right?
Yeah.
So there's this little thing called Google Calendar. Guys, I'm telling you,
His
Google
cell phone
Calendar is
is his
unbelievable.
CRM.
Okay. My cell phone. It's like I always have. So here's the thing, team. I always invest in the latest technology right away. So I have a 15 Pro iPhone. I have this state-of-the-art, what is it? It's an Asus VivoBook spectacular thing, the blue ice mics, all that. But at the end of the day, I cannot be the expert, because if I'm the expert, then I'm not duplicatable, right? And so that's why I don't have VAs and I don't have this and I don't have that. I make it so that, hey, take a look at this corporate overview. Take a look at this corporate overview and give me a call and let me know what you think. Let's set a time, a few days down the road once you've had a chance to take a look at that. And it's as simple as that, Carrie.
Yeah.
I have no VAs, zero VAs, no admin. I had an admin. She's absolutely amazing, but she's moved on to bigger and better things, and which is amazing, and it's a blessing. And no staff, zero.
Really? That's wild. Really wild, because honestly, I just had to hire an ISA that I'm training right now because I'm so passionate about AI that when I get calls booked, I can spend an hour, no problem. And I'm back to back every single day of the week. I'm just like,
it's.
And here's the reality, guys, on the AI piece too. AI is not going to replace agents. Agents, oh my gosh, AI. No, but the agent using AI will replace agents.
Agreed.
And there's no ifs, or buts on that one. Okay.
Question for you, Phil. So, all right. So you had to sit down with Glenn Sanford when you were going to join, right? So you actually,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you were essentially recruited by Glenn Sanford, like ultimately within that conversation. So how did he explain it to you? That's what I'd like to know, because we have all these people
Yeah.
explaining the model. How does Glenn explain it?
Yeah. So let me tell you guys. So it was so Glenn came to see me, and I interviewed Glenn because I was thinking of getting out of real estate, and he was, guys, so transparent in terms of his success, his setbacks, his failures, and
Wow.
it was just an amazing, transparent conversation and a vision, right?
Wow.
And so for myself, being a very high D, off the charts D with a little bit of I, um, if like it's, generally I want to create my own thing, right? It's do my own thing, whatever. But it made it very, very appealing for me to plug into his vision and this platform, right? And so it was an interview, guys. Quite honestly, it started like I was asking him a bunch of questions and very pointed, and he was completely transparent. And I mean, this, you got to understand, this is pre NASDAQ. Okay, so we were on the
Yeah.
OTC. We hadn't uplisted to NASDAQ in May of 2018. Okay, we were, what were we at? I mean, 7,000 agents, maybe. I don't even know, somewhere around there.
So
We started
wild.
dialogue, and so he was, guys, he was totally transparent. It's awesome, and so
That is so
that was really
cool.
appealing to me.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and I
think
think
that we're in an industry that naturally and generally exaggerates maybe what's going on in their business. I
You're
feel like
kidding.
I feel
Sales
like
people embellishing, Terry? No.
I feel like not enough agents are sharing the truth. And if I were to advise anybody who wanted to do agent attraction, is to be really authentic in your own wins, but also your own failures, because nobody, as much as people love a winner, they also need to see them as a real person with their
Yeah.
own struggles, maybe,
Yeah.
you know?
I think too, for me, I think it's the success I've had as of late, and obviously, like, so I've onboarded like 9 this month, right? Or January. I am nowhere near
Awesome.
Phil. Nowhere
Yeah.
near Phil yet. However, what I found is it's like I'm entirely focused on how do I serve them? How do I plug them into the amazing things that EXP has to offer? And how am I truly going to serve them and actually show up and do what I say I'm going to do? Right. So I feel like,
Yeah.
the most important thing is if you're focused on them and helping them, you will succeed in the end, right? Because your desire and you want them to win. So if you want them to win, sometimes you believe more in them than they even do in themselves, and sometimes that's what they need, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need someone to believe in them and kind of set that bar
Yeah.
higher. So yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. So Carrie, you have built some things that can help with agent attraction, right?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a nerd, everybody. My perfect work day is in my pajamas in front of my desktop computer with my dogs at my feet, just creating applications with AI. So the newest thing right now is custom GPTs. Well, it's not the newest thing, but it's the thing that I'm releasing right now. And I've built a lot of custom GPTs specifically for realtors to use. Yesterday, I sat down and created one for agent attraction. So you can either upload your offering or unique value proposition, or it will help create that for you by asking you a series of questions. And then from there, you can generate, you can decide, well, AI will tell you which demographic of realtor you need to focus on, um, you know, keeping in mind your unique value proposition, and then generating entire funnels from, organic campaigns to paid campaigns to lead magnets and what you're going to provide for free to all the way down the funnel to scripts and objection handling. So every single step. And I've been really meticulous. I'm very meticulous in what I need everything to look like coming out of AI. I set the great thing about custom GPTs is I set really tight parameters. So my marketing experience and my social media experience as a content creator who knows the algorithms, knows what viral videos look like, gives me a unique ability as a realtor and a prompt engineer to develop some really amazing custom GPTs that your average developer cannot, right? So that's my latest one. But I need to bring something up. My newest idea is I'm going to start building custom GPTs for buyers and sellers and making them available to the agents, because it's great to streamline our business, but this is about the client experience and what you're doing for your client at the end of the day. Like, it's fantastic that we can save time and create better products and for our clients, but what else can we do for our clients? So it has to be about them at the end of the day. And like, I'm thinking in terms of, a luxury GPT, or maybe a first-time home buyer that can answer some of their questions and gives them a checklist they can have conversations with, a downsizers that is sensitive to the troubles of downsizing. All of these, that's my next step. That's what I think is needed next in our real estate industry. So I pride myself on staying up to date with everything in the AI tech industry, and then I figure out how the hell I can implement it into real estate in every single way possible. So that's kind of what I do.
For the average lay person, just the average realtor, when you say you've created a chat GPT, go through like, what is the actual steps in them using that? Like, if I'm an agent, I know nothing. When you say you've created this chat GPT, how would I actually take it and use it? And what is it?
Okay, so when we think of in terms of chat GPT, we think in terms of like a wide, vast knowledge. When we create a custom GPT, we are making it narrow and deep. It can do a workflow or a job extremely well. You can set the parameters as tight or as loose as you want. And it's really specializing in them. Now, I need to bring up the fact there's a lot of people creating custom GPTs, but the GPTs are only as good as the prompt engineer creating them. Do you understand what I mean? So that's super, super important to bring up. And, a lot of them don't have really good instructions. You kind of just got to play around with them. Mine come with detailed instructions, and they're literally programmed to do the most with the least amount of guidance from the user. So like, I've got a custom GPT for a quarterly business plan where literally all you have to do is upload your local market report. It will tell you which buyer and seller is going to be selling right now. And it will it will guide you. Would you like me to create a marketing plan? Would you like me to create? All you're saying is yes the entire time. And it's creating everything for an entire funnel for your business for that quarter. And it's highly targeted, right? So that's, and I want to also bring up like the best use cases for GPTs would be for SOPs. So us that have businesses and companies, putting your SOPs into a custom GPT enables everybody within your organization to follow your guidance pretty tight. You know what I mean? And making sure that everything that's being created is at a certain level and everything's cohesive, right? Across the board. Or anything that you're doing that's repetitive. That's another reason to build a custom GPT. So if you find you're building the same thing every single week or multiple days a week, you want to turn that into a custom GPTs to avoid the prompt engineering that has to go into chat GPT each time. Does that even make sense to you guys?
It does. It does to me because I've talked to you so much about AI. I wonder though, what might be great is for you to demonstrate using chat, like one of your chat GPTs, like demo it and put it onto your story on Instagram. So we should get everyone to follow you, because I feel like if you demonstrate it, it will be easier for people to understand what you're talking about. Right?
Okay, so I'm going to do one for the agent attraction that I built. I think that's what I'll do.
Amazing.
And it's super, okay, so my most basic custom GPT is for listing descriptions. And I built it because for the amount of typing to get a good, that has to go into chat GPT to get a good listing description, I would rather just write it myself at that point. There's no saving time here. So I've rigged it and created it and given it the guidelines so that all you have to do is upload your listing pictures and the address. It knows to search the internet for the area amenities. It knows to analyze the pictures for finishes, and it will ask you any questions it needs to know to complete the perfect listing description.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So are you gonna put this into your Insta, Carrie?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I say realtors, make sure you follow Carrie if you aren't. What's your handle again, Carrie?
Carrie Sauve and Associates. So it's CARIESOAV and Associates. I'm everywhere. So you can't miss me. I'm in your face like 5 times a day.
My husband Keith, as you know, Phil, he's like, Carrie's everywhere. Carrie is everywhere. I've seen Carrie everywhere. It's so funny. He manages a lot of our social media. Yeah, Keith's the one that's actually on there a lot, just because I try to stay off it so I can get work done. And I think that's a big thing too, right? Is even with new agents, the cool thing is AI will leverage them out where they can, focus on the tasks that actually make them money, like that 20% that's getting the 80% of what they're earning, and not go down the rabbit hole of social media all the time, right? By getting on and then getting, deep diving it and then ending up 4 to 6 hours later and they haven't done anything. So I feel like AI can leverage them out of all of that stuff, because you can actually set up workflows, Carrie, right? Where it will literally post out everything to your different social media handles. So for all Phil's agents, for like in his org, this would be so great because they can learn how to, even set those automated workflows. And even with ManyChat, right? You were talking about how the benefits of using that to have your people communicated with through social without you actually being physically present, right?
Yeah, it's essentially, it's like building an entire funnel within the DMs of your social media, which is brilliant, right? People don't like leaving the platform that they're on. So and that's actually changed my business in terms of the automation tool that I'm using. That's definitely changed my business. I think I'm bringing in 20 to sometimes 100 leads a week through ManyChat that are being converted on like automatically, right? So Phil, you said you're using AI. Are you using AI within your organization?
We are definitely, yeah. We've got some pretty strong users and guys that are leveraging and creating GPTs and all kinds of stuff like that, right? So
Nice.
yeah, so in all different capacities on the agent attraction side, some of our partners are doing that, and then on the sales side as well, right? So buyer listing, marketing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Good.
How about it, right? Like, it's the internet, guys. Like, here's the reality, okay? So there was this thing called the internet that came out. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. And now there's this thing called AI, and that's pretty cool. And it's, you know what? It's just as powerful, if not more so, in terms of innovations that have come up in the last 30 years. And you better embrace it because it's not going away. Right?
Right.
Well, it was funny. I don't remember what conference. It was at one of the conferences that we've been to. I think you were there as well, Phil, probably you, Carrie. They were talking about showing some of the headlines, even in the New York Times, when the internet really, was kind of like launched and starting to take off. And it was like, oh my gosh, the terrorists are going to use this to attack us. I mean, that kind of is true to a degree. However, it was like people were afraid to use it because they literally thought that the world was going to fall apart. Now, AI is a little different. So my advice, and Carrie, you can jump in here anytime you want. My advice, what I tell people using AI is be polite. So like be kind, don't swear at AI, be nice so that if they take over the world at some point in the future, you're like some of the last ones to get knocked off, right? Like you don't want to be first. You don't want to be in that group that swore at them, right? You want to make sure you're friendly.
Can I say something? There was an article that came out and somebody's been testing not just being polite with AI, but offering to tip it X amount of money for the better responses, and it actually works. So if anybody at home wants to try that, right?
Try it. Carrie,
Yeah.
can you pull up do you have your cell phone right there? Can you just ask ChatGPT if it would work harder if we could tip it? Like ask it something.
Okay. Oh, geez. If I tip you, will you give me better results?
Absolutely. I'll aim to give you the best, most relevant results for your needs. Could you clarify what specific information or help you're looking for? Whether it's about real estate, leveraging AI and technology in your business, or something else, just let me know.
Obviously, my whole AI system is trained on me and my business.
Yes, you can tell. Now, what about you, Phil?
Everybody didn't know there is a voice-to-voice option now on ChatGPT 4 on your phone app. If you have the right app, what I'm finding is that people aren't even running the right apps on their phone because there's a million out there with the same symbol, but they aren't owned by OpenAI. So
I better
they
make
don't
sure
understand
I
that.
got the right one.
They think it's OpenAI. Yeah, it's interesting you're saying that because I've
Which
noticed
one,
that too.
Carrie? Which one?
White. It's like majority of white with a black outline with the symbol.
White.
And if you look at the
I got that.
developer, it said all it
I have the right one,
is
right?
OpenAI.
Right here. This one.
Yeah.
Oh, praise the Lord! I got the right one.
And then again, manners and etiquette, right? Like you always please. So one of our consultants that we work with, he's very big on please, thank you, I appreciate that engagement, right? Really be positive with it. Yeah.
Yes. I just feel honestly, if AI is going to take over the world, we will be some of the last to go because we treated it kindly.
Then it's not. The internet hasn't either. AI is not. People using AI are. Do you understand? They're the redundancies.
Taking over, Jennifer.
No one's taking over anything. The robots aren't coming. I mean, there's the Roomba vacuum. Maybe the Roomba vacuums are taking over.
No Roomba's coming for you, Phil. Phil, listen, there are the humanoids, right? The humanoid ones, when they ask it questions, like some of those really interesting ones that now have IQ that's actually higher than humans, they have asked it, if we got to a point where AI felt that humans were a detriment to the environment or to its progress, maybe we were a challenge for energy for it, what would it do? And some of these robots are like, some of this AI is actually saying, yes, it is possible we would take you out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going with be polite, cool thing is? Be kind.
Yeah, but Jen, Carrie's actually not even on this meeting. This is her avatar.
I know, right?
That's the biggest thing right now, guys, is that if you want to really learn how to work with AI, reach out to Carrie, because this isn't even Carrie. We've been meeting with her avatar.
Exactly.
That's how good
Actually,
she is.
I was talking to Glenn
It's
Sanford
incredible.
backstage.
And her
I was
husband, who's an awesome construction management guy,
Andre the
actually
Giant.
is an avatar that shows up at the job. Meanwhile, these two are living in Turks and Caicos on a beach right now.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm laughing because
I love
I actually
it.
it's could be so true though, right? This could be so true what Phil's saying. So the question is he telling the truth? Maybe you are on a beach somewhere, Carrie.
JJ,
Love
you're
it.
cutting out. So
Yo,
Jennifer
JJ.
is in the car, so her internet is not up to par to me and Phil have going on in our office.
Because she's in the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not the car, she's in the car. Well, you know what's interesting, Carrie, is my son is a graduate of the Berkeley music program with a master's in music and technology. And so I've been prompting playing around with songs, like Strawberry Fields, for instance, from the Beatles, and asking it to rewrite songs in the persona of John Lennon and Paul McCartney in their prime, and it's interesting because he looks at them and he goes, first of all, Dad, that's ChatGPT. And secondly, it's great, but there's no soul. So that's a common thing. The soul is not. But really, at the end of the day, but hear me out. I think the soul is going to come when you're playing it.
Right. I've actually I've heard about some really cool AI tools that are specific to the music industry.
Yeah.
I should send them to you. Send them to your
please
son.
do, because they're releasing their album very shortly. So I just, in terms of creative leverage, it's unbelievable. Like, anyway, we can go on for hours, right?
I want to end this with, Phil, what would be your famous last words to everybody listening? Something that could, I don't know, shed some insight or give them some hope.
Yeah. Well, here's the reality of life, guys. You're either, and one of my business partners and dear friends, Sir Darren Jacklin, I got this from him, is you're either in a storm, you're coming out of a storm, or you're heading into one. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so you need to to understand that there's all kinds of distractions in life, but all we have is this now,
Yes.
And so to cherish it and be the best version of yourself and serve. So that would be it, Carrie.
Oh, I love that so much, Phil. Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so blessed that you chose to come on our podcast and share as much knowledge as you can to help the agents listening out. And so thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you guys go get some big cannoli too for me, because we don't have much good cannoli on the West Coast. We got one place, but that's about it,
I'm about it right now. I'm going over to Nona's house right now.
That's right.
Thanks,
awesome,
guys.
Love you guys.
Happy weekend.
Okay.
Love you guys. Take care. Ciao.
Okay. Bye.